Modern-day psychological operations trace its roots back to World War I. Fort Liberty has been the home of psychological operations since the 1950s. The Psychological Warfare Center transitioned to the Special Operations Center of Excellence, where all modern-day Army Special Operations soldiers are trained. The Psychological Operations training pathway begins with military police one-station unit training. You will learn the basic principles of what it takes to become a soldier in the United States Army and the techniques required as a base foundation to continue training. Trainees will move on to airborne school located at Fort Moore, Georgia, where they will become proficient in static line parachute operations. Upon completion of airborne training, soldiers will move to Fort Liberty, North Carolina, where they will begin the Psychological Operations Prep and Conditioning course. They'll further develop their physical and mental capabilities in preparation for the Psychological Operations Assessment and Selection, or POAS, where candidates will undergo intense physical training, psychological assessments, and individual as well as team problem-solving scenarios. You'll be evaluated to determine your suitability and trainability to serve in Army Special Operations by the best instructors the nation has to offer.
So most candidates that show up to us in the preparation and conditioning course already have many skills and characteristics that would be value added to the regiment, and we just kind of mold those to increase their ability as a psychological operations soldier. And so by the time that they graduate and start heading to the regiment, we just see more mature individuals, more professional, they're more knowledgeable about the subject matter and can really head to these teams with hitting the ground running.
I joined the Army for a new experience. I got used to the college life and think I can do a lot more with my life and my physical abilities, so I felt like the Army was the fit. I think a giant shift is watching how the people around me react to a different environment. A lot of us came together from OSIT and just been together this whole time, and they're slowly dropping off. So the idea of watching the people around me switch up and change is actually kind of fascinating to watch.
When I arrived here, my favorite thing was being treated like an adult. Seeing my peers that I thought were going to make it and then get here, and the moment they're allotted some freedom, they spoil it. And seeing the ones that didn't spoil it and would go out and runs and take care of themselves and watch what they're putting in their bodies and really put out that effort, that was inspiring. I enjoy that part of the work. I enjoy that part of the pipeline.
Before beginning the official Psychological Operations training pathway, soldiers must complete the Basic Leader course. The Psychological Operations training pathway is a multi-phase training pathway that begins with the Psychological Operations orientation course and provides an overall understanding of the military and psychological operations. After orientation, soldiers begin the Psychological Operations qualification course. It is an academically rigorous course focused on the framework of behavioral science, theories of influence, and the key anatomy of psychological operations planning designed to influence foreign populations. Not all conflicts are fought with lethal force on a battlefield. Military operations often require a more unconventional, non-lethal approach, uses the power of influence to strategically shape and change attitudes, values, and beliefs. Psychological Operations is the Department of Defense's premier influence capability, where we conduct operations in the information environment through high-tech, low-tech, or no-tech methods to change behavior. It will be heavily relied upon to provide solutions to unconventional problems. You will enter a training pipeline like none other before becoming fully operational in one of our geographically oriented units. As a psychological operations soldier, you will operate in small autonomous teams, become an expert in influence activities and cultural relations, and have the opportunity for advanced specialized training. If you have a sense of a higher calling to affect change on a global scale and go beyond the typical, then Psychological Operations is the place for you. Persuade, change, influence.